A warm welcome to TV Africa News and thank you for always joining us. This is Africa Today. My name is Najuma Luima, but first are the headlines. MPs summon farms that produce energy drinks. Security releases trailer of terror suspects. Sudan coup chief says he won't seek office after 2023 vote. And in sports, home-based players make case for cranes yet again. A warm welcome once again. Now the news in detail. The Parliamentary Committee on Trade, Industries and Tourism has summoned directors of 10 farms that produce energy drinks over claims that some of their products give people incredible sexual power. We have more. The Parliamentary Committee on Trade, Industries and Tourism has also summoned the Uganda National Drug Authority, Uganda National Bureau of Standards and the Uganda Communication Commission on issues of consumer protection. Last week, the Minister of State for Gender, Peace Motuzo, revealed that some of the alcoholic drinks are being disguised as energy drink, hence the need for the responsible government bodies to investigate the farms behind them. Earlier, the committee met officials from the Uganda National Bureau of Standards on issues related to the increase of substandard goods on the Ugandan market. The officials faced the wrath of legislators on fate of the over 2,000 cars that are still held at Kenya and Tanzanian ports as a result of the law banning the importation of cars that are 15 years old. Opposition Democratic Party has revealed that its members who will show interest in the East African Legislative Assembly elections to represent Uganda in the East African Parliament will not be allowed to stand as independents after endorsing a candidate to represent the party. Nalugo has more.
Addressing journalists at their party headquarters in Kampala, the party Secretary General Gerard Siranda said the Democratic Party will parade a single candidate to represent them in the East African Legislative Assembly elections, but candidates who will have failed at the primaries will be required to join other members and support the party representative.
Everybody that subjects himself to this process of the party, we are asking them to sign a commitment form that when you lose these elections, we don't see you as an independent. We only want to see you the following morning putting on your gumboots, putting on your garments and parading to support the candidate that the party will have arrived at.
Siranda also expressed interest in the Iyala election race. Therefore, he will step aside as the Secretary General of the Democratic Party with effect from today to allow his deputy take over till December when the whole exercise is completed.
Starting from today, my duties in relation to this specific aspect, I have stepped aside and I have delegated them to my deputy. The DP Constitution and the framers were very bright.
Nominations for DP candidates for the Iyala elections has kicked off, and the deadline will be on the 16th of November, while elections will take place from the 6th to the 8th of December 2021. Arrival on the desk for nomination of candidates will be restricted to only 10 members in the observance of the standard operating procedures. On the other hand, DP also revealed that the Electoral Commission has confirmed their meeting with them to discuss the removal of bail for capital offenders to allow all Ugandans participate in the amendment of the Constitution in what is termed as a referendum.
We are seriously pushing for this referendum because we believe it's the only way that will allow every Ugandan to participate in the process of amending their constitution. We cannot limit this matter to a few members of parliament. They are good members of parliament, we like them, and we believe that the people will support them in the process of taking a decision where we want to take.
Nalgo Muyingo, Africa Today.
Security has released trailer of suspects arrested following the recent bomb blasts at Komamboga and on a Swift Safari bus, killing 2 people and injuring others. According to police spokesperson Fred Enanga, following the incidents, security arrested 48 people, but after screening, the number has since been reduced to 36 after some were released. Kajanchi has more.
The police spokesperson Fred Enanga said that since their operations target agents, collaborators and terror operatives, a number of people suspected to have links to them are arrested but later released after screening and using them to get useful information, leading to the arrest of the most wanted people. Enanga said that sometimes the police arrests family members or friends to help them lead to the wanted suspects. Security recently blamed Allied Democratic Forces terror group for last month's bomb attack at a pork-eating joint in Komamboga, a Kampala suburb. It is said that an ADF sleeper cell is responsible for the attack, and according to the police spokesperson, the attack was a revenge for continued security operations that have dismantled the group. It was also reported that some of the suspects who participated in the attack had either been trained in the Democratic Republic of Congo by Allied Democratic Forces itself or in Sudan on how to carry out suicide attacks.
Let's take a very quick short break. We will be right back. Welcome back. You're still watching TV Africa News, The Right to Know. Sudanese top general, the military leader General Abdel Fattah Burhan, has promised that he will not hold a government position in the upcoming July 2023 elections. He made the statement weeks after he had collapsed the transitional government in a globally condemned coup. We have more.
The military leader, General Abdel Fattah Burhan, has on several occasions promised to hand over power to an elected civilian government in future. His announcement will, however, not prevent other top generals from ripping off their military titles to become candidates. The military leader expressed his commitment to a peaceful transition and election, saying that they will honor their pledge they made to the people and the international community that they are committed to completing the transition, holding the elections as scheduled, and to respect all political activities as long as they remain peaceful and in line with the Constitution and the active parts of the Constitutional Declaration. At least 14 demonstrators have been killed, about 300 wounded, and others displaced through the anti-coup protests since the 25th October power grab by the army. General Abdel Fattah said the armed forces do not kill its people, adding that investigation committees were formed to establish the truth about what had happened. He called upon the public to disregard the misleading reports that were circulated on the grounds of malice against the armed forces, which he said were deliberate to undermine them as a linchpin to the security and territorial integrity of Sudan. Sudanese security forces on Sunday fired tear gas at multiple anti-coup rallies, with protesters in several cities joining a call for 2 days of civil disobedience against last month's military takeover. Hundreds of anti-coup protesters rallied in the capital Khartoum, as well as in its twin city of Omdurman, Wad Madin to the south, and the northern city of Atbara.
Ethiopia's capital, Addis Ababa, a city over 5 million, sprang to more limelight last week when armed groups fighting the federal government announced they were advancing towards it. One of the groups is the Oromo Liberation Army. A leader from the group is now reported by the media to have said that its fighters were near the capital and preparing a new attack, promising an end to the conflict very soon. A reporter compiled a detailed report of who the Oromo Liberation Army are. The Oromo Liberation Army is an ethnic Oromo armed group fighting the Ethiopian government alongside Tigrayan rebels. They are based in Oromia, the largest region in the Ethiopia that encloses Addis Ababa. In August, the armed group announced they had formed an alliance with the Tigray People's Liberation Front, which has been fighting government forces in the north of the country since November 2020. Both groups, the TPLF and the Ola, are considered terrorists by Addis Ababa. For the past year, the warring parties have remained deaf to the international community's calls for a ceasefire, which have multiplied in recent days. Communications are cut off in the fighting zones, and journalists' access is restricted, making independent verification of positions on the ground difficult. Mr. Abiy sent the army to Tigray on November 4th, 2020 to remove regional authorities from the TPLF, which he accused of attacking military bases. The 2019 Nobel Peace Prize winner declared victory on November 28th, but TPLF fighters retook most of the region in June and then advanced into neighboring Afar and Amara regions. While the TPLF has claimed to have taken towns within a few hundred kilometers of Addis Ababa, Ola military chief Jal Maro said that some Ola fighters are even closer, about 40 kilometers from the capital, without having ever moved an inch from the territory that they controlled. The government has denied any threat to Addis Ababa, but authorities in the capital have asked residents to organize to defend the city. Several foreign embassies have called on their nationals to leave the country. Moving on, candidates for Libya's presidential and legislative elections slated for December 24th can start registering from Monday, according to the Electoral Commission. World powers, including France and the United States, are due to hold a November 12th conference in Paris to make a new push to restore stability in Libya.
The head of the commission, Imad Al-Sayed, told reporters on Sunday that this is the restart of the electoral process, aimed at turning the page on a decade of violence in the North African country. He added that candidate registration for the presidential election will be open from November 8th to 22nd and from November 8th to December 7th for the legislative polls. Oil-rich Libya has been ripped apart by violence since the 2011 overthrow and killing of veteran leader Muammar Gaddafi in a NATO-backed uprising. The polls are part of the United Nations-backed peace efforts that have helped create a year of relevant calm in war-racked Libya following a ceasefire. Last October's ceasefire between rival Eastern and Western governments after United Nations hosted talks led to a transitional government taking office in March to steer the country to elections. Foreign powers have been pushing hard for elections to be both held as scheduled on the same day, December 24th, a date agreed at the United Nations-led talks last year. The High National Elections Commission said on Sunday that 2.83 million Libyans out of a population of 7 million have already registered to vote. Eastern-based military commander Khalifa Haftar is widely expected to stand as a presidential candidate. 5 candidates have so far publicly announced a run for president, including former Interior Minister Fadi Bashaga.
Away from that, the West African regional grouping ECOWAS on Sunday hardened its stance against military-ruled Mali and Guinea, imposing new individual sanctions and calling on both countries to honor timetables for a return to democracy.
The Economic Community for West African States President Jacques-Claude Cassebro told the media after a summit of the 15-nation group in the Ghanaian capital Accra that the Economic Community of West African States has decided to sanction all those implicated in the delay in organizing elections set for February 27th in Mali. He said Mali had officially written to Ghanaian President Nana Akufo-Addo, who holds the rotating presidency of ECOWAS, to inform him that the Sahel country could not hold elections as planned. In a final declaration following Sunday's summit, ECOWAS said it highly deplores the lack of progress towards staging elections in Mali. The situation has raised concerns internationally, prompting a United Nations Security Council delegation to Mali late last month. The officials said in a statement that council members reiterated their call for Malian transition authorities to achieve the handover of power to democratically elected civilian authorities within the agreed timeline. Mali's junta expelled ECOWAS Special Envoy Hamidou Boli from the country on October 26th, declaring him a persona non grata. As for Guinea, where soldiers seized power on September 5th, ECOWAS decided to uphold the country's suspension from the bloc, as well as sanctions against individual junta members and their families. It also reiterated its demand for the unconditional release of President Alpha Conde, who has been under house arrest since his ouster.
Let's once again take a very quick short break. We will be right back. Welcome back. You're still watching TV African News, the right to know. In our business news today, now move to further extend tax services closer to the business community. Uganda Revenue Authority has set up a mobile tax hub in Chikubo. It will last for 15 days from November 2nd this year.
Working together with our trading community leadership, Ian Rumanyika, URA Acting Assistant Commissioner, Public and Corporate Affairs, said the tax body is carrying out door-to-door sensitization engagements with traders. He explained that this will help in equipping them with knowledge about their rights and obligations as taxpayers, free tax advisory and hands-on support services on any tax-related challenges. The exercise of registration is being handled in conjunction with Kampala Capital City Authority and Uganda Registration Services Bureau under the Taxpayer Registration Expansion Program. Rumanyika said this program aims at helping businesses formalize and enjoy the benefits of business formality. He said that the mobile tax hub in Chikubo is in response to the traders' request for more engagement with the taxman, adding that URA has adopted a listening approach to the concerns of the public and business communities and is responding to their needs dynamically and innovatively to enhance service delivery and to draw more revenue contributors into the taxpayers' pool. Rumanyika encouraged every Chikubo trader to take advantage of this exercise to get their tax affairs in order from the comfort of their working spaces.
In our health news today, the Federation of Uganda Medical Interns have announced a countrywide sit-down strike over low pay and working conditions. Announcing the start of the strike, the association president, Mary Nabwire, demanded that the president pledge on enhancing their salary be implemented.
The medical interns strike comes 3 months after Uganda Medical Association in an August 6th letter gave the government an ultimatum of 90 days to enhance their salaries as promised. President Museveni has since directed that medical interns be paid a monthly allowance of 2.5 million from 750,000 shillings because they work long hours. Nabwire says it is saddening to see that the directive by the president has not yet been actualized, adding that as interns they cannot go on to work under such miserable conditions. This is not the first time the interns are going on strike. In May this year, they went on strike accusing the government of not addressing their demands. They also wanted the government to increase their monthly allowance from 750,000 shillings to 5 million that junior medical officers get. The interns also wanted the government to provide housing for them.
in our sports news today, as the Uganda Cranes coach Milton Micho Slejovic prepares his team for the upcoming World Cup qualifiers against rivals Kenya and what could be the decisive clash in Group E against Mali. Only 10 players out of the 28 in camp do not play in the domestic league. Kachancha has more.
Travel and quarantine restrictions have proven to be a huge stumble for Cranes, and current coach Milton Micho Slejovic has had to make do without some of more established Crane players. Of recent, Express Football Club defender Enoch Walusimbi outstandingly took to his senior debut in a friendly against Ethiopia and the goalless draws against Kenya and Mali as Uganda got its 2022 FIFA World Cup qualifying campaign underway. Bobosi Byaruhanga has earned the right to always feature in the midfield throughout the World Cup qualifying campaign. Stephen Mukwala and Aziz Kayondo have also proven influential supporting casts. Most recently, Livingstone Mulondo has also added his name to the options available for Micho at the heart of the ever-changing partnerships at the heart of the Cranes' defense. Long are the days when the Cranes were known to have a stable partnership in central defense with partnerships like Ibrahim Sekaja and Timothy Batabeire or Ande Mwesigwa and Isaac Isinde. The pool of choices have grown, and Micho should be more than happy to have such selection headache at his disposal every time the national team convenes and take on qualification campaigns. Express Football Club goalkeeper Joel Mutakuba will provide competition to St. George goalkeeper Charles Lukwago, who played in the double-header against Rwanda. Chipa United shortstopper Isma Watenga and Azam Football Club's Matthias Kinyago are the other options in goal.
That was the news. Thank you for always keeping it TV Africa. Please do stay tuned. More programming coming your way.